making dye from sea snails. He's inspired by a school project he did decades ago on ancient Carthage and by the purple coloring that represented wealth in the classical world. Anthony's Andrew Thomas has more.
Mohammed Ghassan Nouira processes murex snails using techniques first developed by the Phoenicians to produce a dye known as Tyrian purple that sells online for about $2,500 a gram. The color was so expensive that the ancient Romans restricted its use to the elite, whose purple-fringed robes became the mark of the Mediterranean's most powerful dynasty.
Our ancestors used to extract dye from the murex snail this way. They break the shell of the snail and then extract the gland. After that, they leave it to ferment in salt for 3 days, then put it in a tin container, add other substances, and leave it on the fire between 7 and 8 days until the dye dissolves in the water. They then try to dye wool or silk to evaluate the color. If they get the desired color, it's good. If not, they leave it on the fire until they get the color they want.
For the ancient Phoenicians, the trade in Tyrian purple helped build a mercantile empire that established new colonies across the Mediterranean, such as Carthage. Many years after his school project, Nouira noticed a dead murex on the beach. Recalling his history classes, he decided to experiment with ways of making the dye.
This hobby started when I was 14 years old, in history class, studying the economy of the Canaanites, the Phoenicians, and the Carthaginians, and how they were famous for extracting purple dye from the murex. It was more expensive than gold. The idea stayed in my mind for 12 years, and in 2007, I found a dead murex on the beach in Carthage, with this purple color coming out of it. From that time on, I started my adventure in reviving this dye.
Nouira spent 14 years working on how to produce the dye from nets of murex he buys from a local fisherman. At first, people criticized his new hobby, complaining about the time and energy he devoted to it. But as he started to get results, people saw he was onto something. Andrew Thomas, NTD News.
Never give up. That's the latest business updates for today. You can still catch